me, this is where my brows should start because they're in the corners of my nose. And at the end of my nose, this is where my brows should end, but obviously my brows don't end there. So these were my brows before, and these are my brows after. Stay tuned to see how I did it. I'm starting off with slightly uneven brows. As you can see, my left brow is slightly larger than my right brow. And I'm just going to remove the makeup on it so you can see my brows in its full naturalness. For this technique, you can use any type of string, but I would highly recommend using a thicker string. I'm using a hair string that you use when you sew in hair. And I'm going to coat it with a white pigment, and this is just a paint pot from NYX Cosmetics. And I'm just going to coat the entire string so that when I do put the lines on, you're able to see it fully. I recommend using about 5 to 6 inches of string and just coat it very well. Now I'm going to take this spoolie part and I'm going to brush my brows up first. I'm going to take my string and I'm going to line them up to get them to be seen. Clearly I did a bad job of trying to explain exactly what I was doing, so I had to do a voiceover. Alright, so the first line that I made was to make sure that both lines were perfectly symmetrical and lined up with each other. The second line is for the top so that I make sure that they're both going to be obviously aligned together. The third line that I did was for my arch. I was not going to keep that part. The little lines that I'm making in the middle is because that's where my brows should start. My arches should start right at the outside of my iris, so I'm just lining that up, and from the corner of my nose to the outer corner of my eye should be where my eyebrows should end. So these are the dimensions of how my brows should be. So the top part should be up here, but I don't know if I'm going to keep that part. So this second line up here, this is where my arch should be. This is where my brows should start because they're in the corners of my nose. And at the end of my nose, this is where my brows should end, but obviously my brows don't end there. These are my measurements, and now I'm going to take my tweezers. Using Pro Tools, pointy tweezers. You can use slanted tweezers. Please make sure you sanitize your tools. I'm using 99% alcohol. Now, around your period, you tend to be more sensitive in these areas. You can take ice and put over the area first, or you could just rub it or just pull your skin so that your skin's more taut so that it doesn't hurt as much when you are tweezing. And pretty much you want to not tweeze off too much. You want to just stay around your brow bone area. And I'm just going to remove any excess hairs that I have. I'm pretty much only removing the stray hairs that I have. I'm not going too high into my coarse hair. So just remove any stubs and try to stay as close to the bottom of your brow bone as possible. Now when I get closer to the front, I'm going to keep my tweezers horizontal, and I'm going to make sure that I stay within the white line, either on the white line or below. So I'm never going to touch above the white line. And I'm going to just tweeze in the direction that my hair grows in a horizontal direction. Now I'm going to do the middle part, and I'm going to start off with the middle right here. So I'm going to take off anything that are in between these lines right here. I'm going to leave these hairs here because they should be there, but this one right here that's literally on the line I'm going to take off. I'm gonna take my spoon. I'm going to brush my hair down or more towards the side to see how I want my hair to lay. And I'm just going to take off anything that is above this line here. I am probably going to take off this here too. Okay, I'm pretty much happy with the way that this brow came out. Now I'm going to continue on the other side and just mimic the same things that I did on my right brow. On the line at the top. Now I have way more hair here than I had here, so I'm just going to work on bringing down this hair so I can see what's under and just work on the top. So I had to reevaluate because I needed to make sure that my left brow matched up correctly with my right brow. So I'm just taking the same string that I used before and I'm just aligning it with the new brow that I did, just to make sure that when I do go into my left brow, it is perfectly symmetrical with the arch on my right brow. Purchase your tracks. Done, and I'm pretty happy with the way that they came out. They look very symmetrical, although my left one is slightly larger still. Brows are sisters, not twins. I just have more hair on that brow. Now I'm going to clean these off and I'm going to fill in my brows the way that I like them filled in. I'm using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Fit Brow in the color Ebony, which is a slanted brush. And I'm just going to create hair-like strokes and fill in my brows the way that makes me happy. Purchase your tracks. And here are my final results. Clear, crisp brows that are even. I hope you guys enjoyed my tutorial and you learned something and it was easy to follow.